Hey, good morning or good afternoon. Thanks for joining us here at your lunchtime forecast. I'm meteorologist Taylor Cox with Hail Trace, and your big headlines today are once again that large hail risk returning to the northern plains. So we're talking about the Dakotas here for large hail and damaging wind. We have severe weather possible not just in the northern plains, but also across the East Coast. This does come with a low tornado risk for the Dakotas. We'll talk about that as well. And then tomorrow that risk continues, but it's tracking off to the east, once again hitting the Midwest. So we'll talk about that hail risk as well. But before we get started in your forecast today, let's talk about the Texas Roofing Conference, September 11th through the 13th. We'll be there. We hope to see you there. We'll be at booth 140, and we have an exclusive deal for those attending the Texas Roofing Conference on our annual plan. So go see Frank. He'll be there at our booth. We are very excited. We also have a Facebook page or a Facebook event that you can head over to on our Facebook page and let us know that you're coming on there so that we know to expect you. All right, let's take a look at what we saw yesterday. Wind everywhere yesterday. These storms pretty widespread, not only across the Midwest, but all the way down to portions of the southern plains. We had wind knock out power really across Michigan, but a little bit farther back into Wisconsin, a little bit down in Illinois, a little bit in Ohio as well. Take a look here. You can see all of those wind reports across Michigan. This was not the only area we saw storms. We saw storms at one point anywhere from Detroit back to Chicago, back to Kansas City. So a lot of us getting those strong storms yesterday. I do think one of the biggest things here was that wind impact. These were definitely more of a high wind event than hail. However, we did get some pretty decent sized hail from this, about 2.5 inches just to the north and west of Chicago, which I'll show you in just a minute here. There you go. Chicago, 2.5 inch size hail in Woodstock. So this is just an hour outside of Chicago. In Woodstock, they got some pretty decent hail. Also some really strong wind speeds measured. 75 mile per hour straight line wind in Detroit or just outside of Detroit, 76 mile per hour wind speeds in the southern portion of the city. This knocked out power for many, and they're still dealing with that this morning. Knocked down a ton of trees in the area, so they're still dealing with that cleanup this morning and probably will be dealing with that throughout the next few days. A lot of people impacted by that storm. If we get rid of all of those wind markers and just focus on the hail here, you can see that we did see some hail reports anywhere from even, and this is really close to downtown Kansas City, some in Kansas, Missouri, Illinois, as well as Indiana, Ohio, and Michigan. Mainly a wind event in Michigan. That was really impressive. Those storms just overperformed with those strong winds yesterday. Okay, let's take a look at your current conditions. You can see that we have showers and storms anywhere from Missouri all the way up to Illinois and Indiana right now. We have showers and storms out of the East Coast, maybe a few moving into northern New York. We've got showers and storms across Florida, just some off the coast of Texas and Louisiana, and then out to the west. You can actually see this system. It's circulating here up north of Montana. We're watching for the plains, the northern plains, here for your next chance for severe weather, and then we're watching portions of the Midwest all the way out to the East Coast for your next chance for severe weather. Current temperatures are in the 80s and 90s. Look, if you're not getting rain today, let's say Oklahoma, even portions farther out to the east, your temperatures are hot. However, we have a cool down in the forecast, and we'll talk about that here in just a few minutes. Until then, yeah, we have to deal with the heat. 86 in Oklahoma City, 92 in Chandler, 88 in Dallas, but let's see, 92 in Rockwall. Temperatures, of course, are feeling even hotter than your actual temperature. So this is your feel-like temperature. It's whenever we factor in the humidity or the moisture in the air, and it feels like 97 down in Dallas. Oh, big jump there. 103 in Shreveport. Do we have any other triple digits on the board? South Carolina. We've got 101 in Raleigh and 104 in Virginia Beach. So yeah, a lot of us feeling that heat and humidity today, others dealing with the storms. So let's get right into that. Where are we seeing storms today? Look for the most unstable air. You can see forecasted instability here, anywhere from the Dakotas all the way out to the Midwest and then to the east. You can see as we head into the evening and late night hours. We're using up a lot of that instability. You can see those storms using it up as we head into the overnight hours tonight and into tomorrow. What about that hail risk? It's much more impressive up in the Dakotas. I know that we have a hail risk farther out to the east. I think this will be a bit smaller sized hail, better chances for larger hail. I have up to baseball sized hail in this area. One thing to note here, and I know you can't see this entire map, but our significant hail model is much more impressive in South Dakota. However, the likelihood for storms is greater in North Dakota. So what we'll talk about here is that your likelihood to get storms will be up in North Dakota. However, your likelihood to get those really large hailstones will be in South Dakota, where the storms may be a bit more isolated. We'll talk about that in just a few minutes. I hope that the future radar will help explain that a little bit as well. Okay, let's take a look at future radar. Anywhere from the Midwest out to the East Coast, storms will start off pretty isolated at first, but you're going to see a line of storms form here just south of St. Louis through Cincinnati up to New York. You can see that kind of line of storms that are just kind of hugging the state line there, anywhere from Kentucky to the Virginias. That's what we're going to see between about 5 o'clock to 10 o'clock this evening, wrapping up shortly after the sun goes down, maybe lasting a little bit longer the farther east that you go. This will be anywhere from marginally severe to more of a wind threat, so I don't think the hail will be too big here. However, the wind will be one of the biggest issues, between 60, 70 plus miles an hour. Now for that hail, here's your main hazards up in the Dakotas. We not only have that hail wind risk, but we also are watching for the tornado potential. It's low, but it's still on the board. As I mentioned earlier, we've got a lot more widespread showers and storms through North Dakota. However, models are really struggling to bring any storms down in South Dakota. Don't be confused if you see, or surprised if you see storms in this area tonight. Don't think you're just going to stay dry. I do think that we're going to see a few more showers and storms down in South Dakota that models are having trouble picking up with right now, okay? Models are not putting storms down there. They were with some previous runs. They're not with this run. That's just kind of what we look at for, with meteorologists. We have got to sometimes make our own decisions that may go against what the models are saying right now. So don't be surprised if we get some storms down in this area. Either way, here's your timing, 6 p.m. to the overnight hours. I think we could see some pretty large hail with this, as well as some of those strong wind gusts. We also have that tornado risk today, so keep that in mind whenever you make your plans. Let's take a look at, are we going up to the north first? Down to the south? Up to the north first. All right, here we go. As I mentioned, more widespread showers and storms with a higher likelihood in North Dakota. However, I still have South Dakota on the map here because you could still see that very, very large hail down to the south. We're talking anywhere between ping pong to baseball sized hail. I know that's a wide range there, but I think we could definitely see up to baseball sized hail, if not even larger hailstones in this area. And then farther down to the south, as we've mentioned, we are going to see some of that smaller hail anywhere from St. Louis all the way back to Baltimore. It'll be a little bit more widespread for some of those storms farther back to the east, which is why I had that yellow risk, that moderate level risk farther back to the east. There you go. Up to baseball sized hail is definitely possible with some of these storms up in the Dakotas this evening. I think that we could see anywhere between ping pong to golf ball to hen egg sized hail, pretty widespread. However, baseball sized hail will be very isolated, not everyone getting that, but it's definitely a possibility for a few, one, maybe two of these storms to produce those larger hail sizes. Talking about the wind gust here, 75 mile per hour wind speeds, not out of the question for some of these storms. Not all of them, but some of these storms will definitely produce some of those stronger winds, very similar to what we saw last night, not only for the Dakotas, but also farther down to the south. Now you can see that comparatively to our hail sizes, wind will be a bigger risk. So hail, a pretty small risk through the Midwest to the east. However, wind speeds will be much more of a risk here, where we could see up to 70, 75 mile per hour wind speeds, anywhere from Indianapolis all the way out to Baltimore, once again including Cleveland. Cleveland, I know that you got that risk for wind last night as well. Taking a look at today's tornado forecast. Now this is brand new information. If you saw the news earlier this morning. This is brand new information. This is right along the South and North Dakota state line, right in the center of the state. We do have a better risk than what we were seeing earlier today. This is a brand new information that just came out about a half hour ago. So yeah, we are definitely looking at a low to moderate tornado risk for today. I know it's low, but it's still on the board, so it's still something to take seriously. If you have any friends up in South or North Dakota, make sure that they know of this risk for today. I think that's very, very important. Now let's talk about the storm risk for tomorrow. That storm risk starts to shift just a little bit to the east. We'll continue to watch showers and storms anywhere from the Midwest and then once again to the East Coast. We'll have two areas here that we could not only see strong wind speeds, but also large hail with this. I think I have your hail map here. There you go. Midwest, even portions of the Central Plains could get some of this hail. Now, very similar to yesterday, if you saw the forecast yesterday, we had low hail on the board, but I said that could go up as we get more information from models today, and that's exactly what happened. I think this is very similar to what we're going to see tomorrow. Right now, we're kind of looking at the lower end of hail sizes. However, I think that these hail sizes could go up as we get more information from those models tomorrow. And then farther down to the south, probably some pretty small hail down there on the East Coast. All right, there is your severe weather forecast. Let's get to those temperatures here. We have temperatures in the 90s, 95 in Oklahoma City, 90 degrees out in Memphis. This is tomorrow. 95 in Birmingham. A little bit cooler farther up to the north and west. But thankfully, that cool air comes into places like Oklahoma City, St. Louis, Kansas City by Saturday. Highs are in the 80s, which is still warm, I know, but it's way better than the 90s in triple digits. It's a little bit cooler for this time of the year. Hey, happening here in Oklahoma on Friday, we are very excited for football to return. I'm very excited for football to return. The temperatures are going to be absolutely beautiful for the game, a light breeze, 5 to 10 miles an hour. However, we do have the chance for showers and storms. It could be a rainy day leading up to the game. The game is at 6 o'clock on Friday evening. However, the rain is supposed to stop right in the evening hours. So we're hoping that rain stops before the game begins. Hopefully we don't have any delays with this. However, you could see rain for your tailgating. That is why I have that cloud interference icon up. And speaking of the game, we want you to join us. Come to our tailgate. We have a lot of fun with this. Hail Trace and Beacon are at the same tailgate. This is, let's get some information here. Starting at 3:30, game time is at 6 o'clock. We are tent 112 across from gate 12, easy to remember there, on Jenkins Avenue. Tent 112 across from gate 12. So come visit us. We'd love to see you. Alrighty, thanks for watching today. We'll get an update on the tropics tomorrow. It does look like we're picking up some more activity out there. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. We also do live updates there whenever the storms roll into your city. We have live updates on those on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. That's where we do our live updates. And give us a call at 855-334-4245 for all of your wind, hail, and tornado maps. Email us at info@hailtrace.com or head to our website for more information on plans at hailtrace.com. Thanks for joining us on this Wednesday afternoon. We'll be back here same time, same place tomorrow.